Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Oreaganic podcast, or welcome if it's your first time listening. I'm your host, Reagan. Today's episode will probably be short and sweet because I'm going to be so for real with you guys. It's 10:53 p.m. and it's a Wednesday. So I need to go to bed, but I have a really important topic that we are talking about today, which is all around community and honestly just the fact that, I'm just going to be so honest with you guys. Not that I'm not always, but I'm really just going to let my stream of consciousness flow because the lack of community in the modern day is one of the core pillars of reasons why I think that so many people are miserable and lacking happiness. And I don't think that this is an accident. I feel like it is somewhat by design, by, of course, the structure of our society to kind of keep us feeling a little more detached, a little more individual, because when we are alone and isolated and feel like we don't have a sense of community, we're a lot more vulnerable. I'll just put it at that. But not to be existential, on a dead serious note as well, it really is such an important thing to foster connections with the people in your life and maintain your friendships, maintain your relationships, to feel like you are living a really nourishing, fulfilling life. So I'm just going to talk about that today. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Oreaganic podcast. I'm your host, Reagan, mechanical engineer, lifelong athlete, and recovered overachiever, here to empower you to pursue your highest potential and live freely as your happiest, most organic self. Every week, we'll dive into topics ranging from personal growth, mindset hacks, psychology, and a blend of science and spirituality to give you all the tools you need to stop living on autopilot and start creating a life of freedom, meaning, and fulfillment as your most organic self. If you're ready to become the best version of yourself, then let's plant those seeds and grow. Okay, story time, guys. I'm not even making this up. I've always had this kind of visual, this thought that I've this thought that I've kind of hung on to over maybe the past year and a half, 2 years, when I'm just thinking about the things where, what are the situations where I have really felt the most alive, or what are just the most pure memories that those kind of circumstances where when you're in the moment, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to miss this. I love this so much. This is going to be such a good memory, or just times like these. And it all centers around community and spending time with my friends. I think this is why people will get so nostalgic for college, me included, because college is essentially 4 years of living with your friends, being around your friends, being in close proximity to people who you all share a common goal of getting a degree. You all share your environment. You share this sense of community that is something that you literally just don't get after you graduate. And you have that in high school too, and even before that. I feel like school is obviously the most obvious place for this sense of community to be formed, because when you're in the real world, when you're an adult and you're working your individual job, you've moved across the country, you don't see your friends as much. There's just, everyone goes their separate paths, and you're not on, it's not nearly as accessible to maintain such a close-knit connection because your environment is no longer conducive to making that so easy. I bring this up because when I think of these moments and just how precious it is to spend time with people, I'm these are the memories that literally just add the color to our lives, create the joy, create the that. I don't want to say that's the meaning of life, but it is such a pure, emotional, beautiful experience to be able to share life with people that you love and have really funny memories together, or just go through things with people close to you in your life, your friends, or even just acquaintances, just anything where you're in a group setting. I feel like that is where we have some of the best memories of our lives. Yeah, of course, you can really enjoy spending time with yourself, and you can, I'm a bit of a hermit crab sometimes, for sure, where I enjoy trust me, I enjoy my independence, I enjoy my own space, and I very much so need that to recharge. But at the same time, Like there's nothing like spending time with people. There's nothing like being around others. And for someone listening to this who might not feel like they have these crazy memories with friends or this huge friend group, or you feel like you've always wanted to have more, soul level kind of friendships, but you just haven't, I hear you and I see you. And I just want to say that like it is absolutely possible for you to experience that. It's possible for everyone. And speaking to community and friendships, there are people who are meant to be in your life for a season. There are people who are meant to be in your life at one point and then leave and then come back. And there are people who are meant to be in your life forever. And none of this is right or wrong or better or worse than another. It is just true that like we all go through different seasons of life. So I say that in the sense of like not being too attached to, if things don't work out or if something's not happening for you right now, that's not to say that you can't still experience like incredible friendships and memories and relationships, even beyond college into later years of life, whatever your situation might be. So that's a caveat. But something that I think can really benefit a lot of people from stemming from this idea of community is the fact that like it doesn't have to just vanish. If you're someone who went to college, it doesn't just have to vanish after college. It doesn't just have to vanish in adulthood. Like we still get to experience these kind of connections with the people that we love. But the problem is, and hence the source of kind of suffering and the loneliness and everything, is I feel like we don't prioritize our friendships enough. And we don't prioritize, like as a collective society, we don't prioritize like the community kind of vibes and relationships and effort that we need to actually maintain relationships that are equally as nourishing to the other person as it is to us. And I know to a lot of people, I think especially after COVID, people got really comfortable just like being in their own little bubble and being in their own space and not wanting to like go out or talk to someone that they haven't seen in a few years, or like, oh my God, I saw this person from high school at the grocery store and they were in aisle 11 and I was about to go down that aisle, but I didn't want to talk to them and have an awkward conversation, so I just kept walking. Like, freaking, why are we like this? Weirdos, freakazoids, like, what the fuck? May I remind you that humanity, for the entirety of our existence, prior to now, like, we have always needed community. Our lives have centered around community and connection with others. Like, it is a baseline primal need, and it's also something that we just need for happiness. Again, it is a need. It's essential. It's not something that's like nice to have. If you want to live a full, happy, fulfilling, well-rounded life, like, you're gonna need other people to live it with. And the point of making good memories, like, you usually don't make incredible, mind-blowing memories where you're like laughing your ass off thinking about it with just yourself. It always involves other people. But yet our world has become so comfortable with allowing us to be so detached from each other and almost like deluluing ourselves into thinking that that is a preferred way of living, to be so detached. Because I think a lot of us today just don't really have the same kind of avenues of experiencing like a big group kind of like village sort of community in the places that we live, which is a product of our environment. It's a product of our society, and it's not necessarily like, someone's fault or like we're doing something wrong. But I do think that in order for anything to change or improve, you have to bring attention to it. And sometimes we don't realize the impact that our friendships have on us, and like having real, genuine, like bonding time with the people that we love. And what keeps us from actually doing this is the friction of feeling like it takes a lot of effort to reach out to people, or it's like a big energy drain to like have a conversation you haven't talked to with someone, or have a conversation with someone you haven't talked to in a while. We see it as like this huge energy drain, this like taxing thing. But here's a reframe for you. Yes, it might take energy to, be a little bit more quote unquote on, or like, kind of just talk to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or like catch up, etc. Or even just reaching out to your friend. Yes, it takes energy, but you will always have such a high return on investment with what you get back from putting that energy into it. Like, investing your time in your friendships, in your relationships, is something that is going to pay off for life. For life. Think about how good you feel after spending 3-4 hours literally just yapping with your best friend from childhood who you don't really see super often. Like, that's literally what I just did tonight. And, I had it in my head at first. I was like, both of us were saying like, oh, trying to coordinate how long she should come over for and like how long we should hang out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, then we just ended up talking for like casually forever. Like, I could talk to this girl for literally like, she's my best friend from since we were literally like 5 years old. Like, I fucking love her. I could talk to her forever. And she is like one of my like closest soul kind of friendships. And like, yes, there were other things I needed to do tonight. Hence me recording this podcast at 11 p.m. Like, yes, there are things that I needed to do or whatever, but I don't give a fuck about any of those things. I don't fucking care, because investing the energy and time into just being fully present with her and talking and us just like bonding and us like me cooking dinner for both of us and everything, like that gives me so much of a return on the investment of my time, just in the sense of like the pure love in my heart that I feel connecting with like such a close childhood friend and just like spending time with people that I love. It gives us so much time back, but yet our brain convinces us that like, oh, it's not worth it to take the few hours to go out and talk to people or like meet up with someone who you haven't seen in a while, or like, oh, I'm tired right now, I don't feel like responding, or blah, 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 blah. Like, we come up with all of these stupid excuses that keep us from actually like really nourishing our relationships. And yet simultaneously, I feel like all of us deep down truly craves to feel like the sense of being a part of a village, a community, like being close to our neighbors, feeling like we're supported, like the feeling of a family having your back, like your family having your back, that kind of like familial sort of connection. And even in college, just the feeling and the good vibes of just like being able to just laugh with a bunch of people and like just go do a bunch of things and again have all these shared memories. Sacred stuff. Like, this is stuff, these are kind of the kind of memories that you make and you think back on when like 20, 30, 40 plus years from now. Like, you think back on these like golden memories for the rest of your life because they are so positive and they are so sacred and something that is so special and unique and inherent to like what we require as human beings to have fulfilling lives. So why aren't we prioritizing that more? Like, the but here is the fact that we are lacking in actually understanding and almost remembering how much of an impact it has on us to actually nourish our connections, because we've gotten so used to the independence of being disconnected, of everything being super convenient, of us never having to talk to anyone. Like, the classic thing that everyone loves to say in terms of our convenience epidemic, in the sense of like, you could have every single thing done for you. You can pay your bills, you can like get food, you can get all the things you need delivered. You could do all of the things that you need in order to survive and either never or very, very barely ever have to speak to a human being. Like, yes, that's convenient, or yes, like it saves you time, but what are we losing from having literally everything be streamlined and over convenienced and like completely allowing ourselves to diminish our natural ability to be slightly uncomfortable talking to strangers, placing an order, like in person, actually speaking out loud? There are these small interactions are what actually remind us and build up the like skill of being able to actively engage with like communities as a human being. And when we slowly let these kind of deteriorate, like it could be hard to get it back. Which is why I say I think COVID had such a big impact on people. Well, I know it did, but like COVID in particular was such a turning point because so many of us lost that kind of ability to even go out and connect with other people and talk to them and like be in those situations. And then when things finally went quote unquote back to normal, I'm going to hold my thoughts. But when things went back to normal and everyone could go back outside again, it's like everyone was just scared to talk to each other. It's just dumb. Like, I don't know. I wish our world wasn't like that. I think people would be so much happier if the value of, like, being a good friend, being a good neighbor, like, actually getting to know your neighbors and building up strong communities again, I think we'd be so much happier, so much better off if we actually just remembered how special it is to be connected to the people that we live next to, the people who we love, our friendships and everything. And it's ironic that this is an era where we are more like the ability to connect with other people is more streamlined than ever, in the sense of like social media being able to connect people literally across continents, across time zones, like families who live apart. You can talk to them all the time. You can text your friends whenever. All of this is true, and yet we still feel more disconnected than ever at the same time. Like, it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22. And this episode isn't to, preach to you guys and say like, oh, how dare you guys not reach out to your second grade best friend who you haven't talked to in 9 years, you must hate everyone. Like, no, that's not the vibe. But I do want to inspire you guys, as I have felt inspired tonight. And I again think on this memory of like the fact that my college memories, my college years are things that are probably going to stick with me for a long time, just because like spending time with my college friends, the people that I love there, I don't know. There's nothing like that shared sense of community and those shared memories like that. And it's harder to get that in the adult world. And I'm not someone who went out and partied and went to the bars and was all crazy getting blacked out everywhere. Like, no, I was not a big party person. I just mean like wholesome, genuine memories, just like everyone hanging out in a dorm room, or just like yapping for hours with like 4 of your friends, or just seeing everyone and your mother at the gym and just like having conversations. Like, these small things are examples of things that we miss. So back to my point, the goal is not to make anyone feel shame or to highlight loneliness or to make it seem like our world's just fucked, what the fuck are we going to do about it. It is to inspire a reawakening of the priority of actually caring for your communities and tending to the flowers of your friendships. I don't know why I said that, but seriously, tending to the garden of your friendships. Because yes, sometimes it takes energy, and yes, I think we've become more adapted to just being more independent and not really reaching out, or just kind of letting us float about and not really prioritize big group events, or like fostering a sense of connection with strangers if we're like moving to a new neighborhood or something like that. But I really feel like if we all started to do that, if everyone started to kind of prioritize just showing up for the people in your communities, and like rebuilding very strong communities centered around that sort of like connection, having each other's backs, and like actually looking out for one another, like we would be so much better off. I think everyone would be happier. And speaking to more of an individualized sense, if everyone took the time to like really show their friends that they cared and just sent little texts and just, hey, I was thinking about you, or you actually said yes to getting coffee with that person that you literally haven't talked to in 7 years, like you have no idea what could come of those kind of conversations. I have someone, oh my God, I love her so much. Another one of my like soul friendships. Her and I literally have not talked since like basically middle school. And she slid up on one of my fucking yapping story posts on Instagram and was basically saying, how she resonated with everything I'm talking about, just etc. Like, it's helped her. And also, like, said, like, I'd love to get a coffee. I'd love to, go out or whatever. And you know what? It could have been so easy for me to just be like, that would be, I don't know if that would be like awkward. We haven't talked in a while. Like, I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know if I really should do that. But I was like, no, I'm not going to be a fucking loser. I'm going to say yes to this. I don't care if part of me is a bit like, oh, is it going to be awkward? Like, no, it's awkward if you make it awkward. I'm going to go fucking do this. And we're going to have the best time ever. And guess what? We had the best time ever. We reconnected like we had seen each other yesterday. Like, the catching up, and this is why I say it's like a soul level kind of friendship, but the catching up, the vibes, like, I love her so much. I love her so much. And I never would have reconnected with her if I actually listened to like the very, very small, like tiny part of my voice that I feel like a lot of us have, which is like, oh, like, I don't know, like I haven't seen her in so long. Like maybe it's easier to just like, I don't know, maybe not, maybe do it. I don't know. Like it would have been so easy probably for me to just be like, no. But since I actually took the time to make it a priority, to connect, to say yes, to do something that might seem, yes, like slightly uncomfortable, even though it's really not, if I didn't do that, I would not have her friendship in my life right now. Like, we would not be at the level of friendship that we are. Like, we never would have reconnected like this. We never would have had these experiences. And I'd be missing out. I would be missing out. But it just started with saying yes. It just started with actually, reciprocating and responding to the effort and the energy to talk to her, to be friends with her, to reconnect. And I don't know, guys, we don't need to be so uncomfortable talking to other human beings. And yes, I understand. The world is big and scary. There are a lot of people, stranger danger. Like, yes, all very true things. And all we do, if we are constantly scared of the world around us, the people around us, lacking trust of literally every single thing outside of us, is we perpetuate this sense of fear that then just spirals within us that isn't even actually truly reflective of probably most people. And then this leads to our entire worldview of just constantly being questioning of everyone else. And then we do ourselves no service because we completely lack this ability to be able to connect with others and actually really enjoy and get nourishment from the relationships that we can get from it. So my challenge for you today, listening to this, is to reach out to someone that you haven't either reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while, literally just say hi to a stranger, or, this is a really good one, instead of ordering your drink on a mobile app at Dunkin', at Starbucks, whatever, go inside and place an order by speaking to a real human being. Gasp. I dare you. I dare you. I just did this last week. And you know what? I felt better after I did it because it's so much easier to just hit, boop, 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 click order. But I'm trying to train the muscle of my brain to remember and understand the value and impact that it has for me to actually engage with other human beings. And yes, be slightly uncomfortable in doing so sometimes, or, feel like it's just a different kind of interaction. But the more that we let ourselves get away from this kind of mental training or this mental muscle, the worse off we all are going to feel. I really believe that. And I know that some things might feel a lot easier just to have it be streamlined, casual, not talking to anyone. Might feel easier now, but think about the long-term impact of so many people just accepting the fact that we just basically never have to associate ourselves with any other human being or talk to anyone else in order to be fully supplied for. That is not how we were meant to be living. And I don't think that anyone is truly their absolute happiest when they're living like that. I feel like people are most happy when they get to share the wealth with others, when they get to share the experience of life with other people who they also love, who have their back and they have theirs, and you have this mutual happy village community kind of connection with good people who you know and trust and love, and you get to experience life with. That is the most rich kind of person. Someone with a family, a community, a village, and people who they love. Life cannot, you can only experience the maximum degree of happiness that life has to offer when you are able to share that with other people who you love, your friendships, everyone. I think you guys are getting the point now. So what can you do to more thoroughly nourish the connections that you have right now with your friends, with your loved ones, with your family? And how would your life change if you actually really started to prioritize those connections rather than just take the easy way out and say, oh, it's probably not that important, or, oh, I don't really feel like doing that right now? How would your life change? Literally think about it. Would it get better or worse? Because I'm pretty sure there's only one right answer, depending on your friends. And obviously, if you have friendships, relationships that are just draining you, that do nothing but, add stress to your life, then odds are probably good that either something needs to change, a boundary needs to be set, or if it's friendships, odds are really good that those people are not meant to be in your life. So take this episode as inspiration to really do what you think is best for you to nourish your community, get a bit out of your comfort zone, do something that requires you to connect with a stranger or just speak to someone differently, or maybe even talk to your neighbors more and actually try to foster a sense of community in our own individual spaces, in our own individual neighborhoods, and see how you feel after. Just see how you feel after with open, neutral curiosity. And if it makes your life better, then use that as food for thought for ways that you can kind of implement that into your life more. But I really do feel like our society is lacking these more grassroots level communities. And the only way to change that is for each of us as individuals to do what we can with the power and energy that we have to foster relationships and communities with the people who are closest to us, specifically our friends and our loved ones, and also our neighbors and the people that we love. and strangers. So with that, I think that's all I have for today. I know it's a shorter episode and pretty basic topic, but I really do believe that like the most potent memories are the ones that we share with others. Like the belly laughing, the storytelling, like everything like that. That is how we were meant to live. That is how humans were meant to share and experience this life, is together, not separate as these little robots just going about our daily monotonous lives acting like that's normal, because it's not. We are meant to share community. We are meant to feel alive. We are meant to feel joy and pleasure and happiness, and to share that with others. That's all I have for you guys today. Speaking of community, I just want to say, if you are listening to this episode, I appreciate you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. I love you guys, and I'm excited to keep posting, keep growing the brand, and keep hopefully having a bigger impact on this big, beautiful world that we live in. So with that said, hope you're doing well. Go be your most organic selves, and I will see you in the next one.